The Roman Republic, once a leader of democracy, power, and freedom, driven by survival and struggles, again stands at a crossroads. It's because 27 BCE is the year which is the end of republican governance and the beginning of imperial rule. After years of civil war and disruption, a young leader who appears as the sun rises in the dark, named Octavian, later known as Augustus. With skillful intelligence and unparalleled ambition, he overcomes the difficulties and smartly tackles his rivals to claim the title of Rome's first emperor. But it's not the end of this story, it's just the beginning of a dynasty marked by greatness, betrayal, and war. The Senate, once a powerful institution, now becomes a bow highlighting Augustus's authority behind republicanism. He promises peace, prosperity, and stability to the disrupted population. Augustus is not merely an emperor, but a mastermind of propaganda, reshaping Rome's identity from a republic to an empire. He wants to concentrate all power on himself, which leads to the dissolution of the Roman Republic and the establishment of the Roman Empire. So this era is marked in history by decisive changes in Rome's political and social structure. In Augustus's ruling era, he introduces many reformations that entirely change the landscape of Rome, because he wants stability in all the sectors after years of chaos and wars. Politically, he centralizes power, maintaining the illusion of the Republic, while holding ultimate authority as a princeps. He also reorganizes the Senate, establishes a professional administration, improves provincial governance, reduces corruption, and promotes loyalty to the land. However, in the military sector, he creates a fixed salary system, hires bodyguards for personal protection, and also provides land and pensions to the authority. He also invests in social and economic sectors to ensure the better standing of the Roman Empire. He reorganizes the taxation system and invests a huge amount in infrastructure developments like roads and aqueducts. He also makes tireless efforts to standardize the currency to stabilize the economy of the empire. After the Civil War, as the people again made different communities, he approved moral laws to promote family values and revive traditional religious practices to unite the population. So these reformations not only strengthened his ruler era, but also laid the foundation for the Pax Romana, the era of peace, prosperity, and stability that defined the Roman Empire. While the people of the Roman Empire only see the advancement and developments of Augustus, no one considers his planning for himself. The army he establishes for the land is more loyal to him rather than the common people, which ensures the military powers remain firmly in his hands. His ambitious projects of the building changed the entire city into a marvelous example of architecture and engineering, proof of his vision of ruling the city with one single hand. Yet his development orders and practices, there is a wild tension that arises which the people aren't aware of. But the heir at law can smell the desire for Augustus's succession, which leads to arguments among potential heirs. Augustus knows that his power and authority won't last forever, and he feels that fear of betrayal, which can be as dangerous as any weapon. Now, fate decides to overthrow his throne, so as he grows older, the betrayal in the foam rumors spreads throughout the grand walls of power. In 14 CE, Augustus died and left the legacy of power. By his passing, the leadership of Rome fell to his stepson Tiberius. He is known for his military success and experience. He seems like a capable choice. However, he is not ready to take this throne and step into the ruler's life. Many people admire his skills and qualifications, but his distant personality and lack of charm make his way hard towards winning the same devotion and ruler's life that his stepfather enjoyed. Despite his hesitation, he takes up control with mixed opinions, strengthens the military, and upholds the administration system already in place. However, his reserved nature and mistrust of others make his leadership less engaging and more authoritarian over time. But he slowly withdrew from public life and left much of the day-to-day governance to trusted officials, yet maintained strict control of key decisions. While many people have seen him as a great capable leader, some people can understand the depths of his insecurities. He began his reign as emperor with the hope and promise of being a capable leader, but over time he preferred to distance himself from the ruling responsibilities of Rome, retreating to the island of Capri. He tries to separate himself physically and emotionally from the city and its politics. His fear of distrust of who is around him is increasing day by day, and he believes that people might betray him. To protect his power, he relies on informers and spies to monitor others and gather information. Acting on his suspicions, he orders the execution of anyone he thinks is disloyal, whether or not the threat is real. As Tiberius's rule continues, he changes himself from a hesitant leader to a harsh and dominating one. His leadership is remembered in the words of fear and cruelty, unlike Augustus's clever and charming leadership. In 37 CE, destiny plans the death of Tiberius with the completion of his rule period. Some people believe that he died naturally, while others claim he was smothered on orders from Caligula or his allies. Then the throne comes to Caligula, the grandchild of Augustus, a young man whose initial popularity quickly spirals into madness. Caligula's early policies and practices won him favor among the people, as he improved taxation policies and worked on public entertainment. But soon his changed behavior takes the center place. It's a time when cold winds blow through the streets of Rome, spreading fear and signaling the start of a harsh and cruel time. Now, Caligula declares himself a god and demands worship from all the Romans. He appointed his horse Incitatus to the position of consul, a highly important position in Roman politics. This shocking act is absurd and insulting to the political system, shows his absolute power, and highlights Caligula could do whatever he wants, no matter how disrespectful it is. Now the Romans again fall into the darkest period of cruelty and brutal control, as Caligula shows his complete control of politics. Fear and insecurity grip the empire more when he executes senators and their families without mercy. Power and brutality never fade away from the entire Roman. Finally, destiny is kind to the Romans. Caligula's rule suddenly ends in 41 CE when members of the Praetorian Guard kill him. After Caligula's death, his nephew Claudius unexpectedly becomes an emperor. People don't take him seriously because of his physical disabilities and awkward manner, but he surprises everyone with his smart leadership and proves to be an effective ruler. He expanded the Roman Empire, notably by conquering Britain and implementing various reforms in governance and law. Claudius is also known for his contributions to infrastructure, such as improving the road system and building new ports. His reign is highlighted as a period of greatness, stability, and growth for the empire. But people forget that every path has its puddle. Even Claudius cannot be safe from the betrayal planning surrounding him. In 38 CE, Claudius married Valeria Messalina before becoming an emperor. In 48 CE, their marriage ends badly when she is executed after being accused of plotting against him and committing acts of betrayal, including a scandalous public marriage to another man while Claudius is still alive. Despite these challenges and being betrayed by the people he trusts the most, Claudius's rule and legacy seem so stable and controlled, unlike the other emperors before him. However, there are still some plots and issues which hint at future problems. Claudius adopts Nero and makes him his heir, influenced by Nero's ambitious mother, Agrippina the Younger, who is also Claudius's wife. Many people believe that Agrippina poisons him to ensure his son takes the throne. After the death of Claudius, which may have been a natural incident, Nero becomes the next emperor of Rome at the age of 16. Initially, Nero looks like a young, promising leader, influenced by wise advisors like Seneca, but he quickly reveals himself as an emperor driven by ambition. His leadership and legacy again give hope to the Romans, but as he's younger and now obsessed with fame, which brings him to the down path. He participated in theatrical performances and chariot races, which were not only inappropriate activities as an emperor, but also separated traditionalists within Roman society. In 64 CE, Rome suffered a massive fire breakout that destroyed much of the city. People started claiming that Nero played music while the city was burned. To avoid the blame for the fire, he accuses Christians of punishing them harshly and leaves many people in shock and confused at the same time. People, both rich and poor, become unhappy with Nero because of high taxes and poor leadership. Rebellions start across the empire, and more people turn against him. In 68 CE, he was declared a public enemy by the Senate, and he fled Rome. But when his supporters abandoned him and soldiers came to arrest him, Nero realized he had no way out. Afraid of being captured and executed, he reportedly forced a servant to help him stab himself in the throat. His last words are said to have been, "What an artist dies in me." A storm that brews for years ends in a thunderous crash. The Julio-Claudian dynasty comes to a dramatic end. The legacy these emperors leave behind is complicated and filled with fear, intelligence, and cruelty. From Augustus's careful rise to power to Nero's wild spending, each emperor plays an important role in shaping Rome's unique history and politics for years to come. Leaders like Augustus, Caligula, and Nero shaped Rome's journey from a humble beginning to a mighty empire. They visualize greatness, weaving a story of power, culture, and ambition. But their path was never straightforward. There were many twists and turns. Some emperors made their path easy through sincerity and fairness to the Romans. Some think about themselves only, but destiny doesn't. Every emperor, whether sincere or not, faced betrayal, broken partnerships, and sacrifices that slowly built the empire's strength. With the vast lands conquered, rivals at home, and wars abroad, Rome's power is constantly becoming challenging. There is one question that arises in the mind of Romans. Would the empire find balance in its chasing of power, or would its growing struggle bind it apart? The early emperors had a dream of a prosperous Rome, but their ruling period is now remembered as cruelty, fear, and unchecked power. So the question is, could the empire stay strong, or would its ambition lead to its end? Only time will reveal the plan of destiny.